Well, you make the comparison. If you had a guy out here just 6 feet tall, that would be going against a 7'1" player. That's kind of the comparison.
Yeah. You can imagine how much of a difference that is and how dominant someone that's that size in the men's game can be. And that's what McIntyre's been. I mean, just what an addition to this program. I mean, just a one-year player transferred from Florida, but she's made a huge impact on Oral Roberts' season this year without a doubt. Her story on how she got to Oral Roberts. She actually was at Oklahoma State, Tom, and transferred from there to Florida and then back to Oral Roberts. Kind of a connection to someone she knew at Oklahoma State that had played at Oral Roberts.
Dorka Fowler's got a chance at a three-point play for Oral Roberts with 3:23 to go.
And for Liz Keena, they just haven't happened in the second. That's what's put them in such a big hole here with little time to play.
The Golden Eagles 3:23 away from South Dakota State in the semifinals. Back to Tom and Brad.
Thank you, fellas. Bala gets the hoop, but not the free throw. 11 for Dorka Baller for Oral Roberts. Vicky McIntyre's got 18 points, 16 rebounds, and leads Oral Roberts with 4 assists as well, Brad.
And she's done a great job of distributing the basketball. She hasn't shot it as well as she usually does. She's usually a 52% field goal shooter, but in this game today, like you mentioned, just 5 of 15.
Well, there's the second block shot of the game for McIntyre. North Dakota State just never got anybody going offensively except that little run here in the second half by Lamar. And she's got 27 now, but she's taken 22 shots to get it. But Holly Johnson didn't get going, and thus in 11, where the head coach of Oklahoma State was killed in a plane crash. McIntyre transferred out, went to Florida for 1 year. She graduated actually from the University of Florida in 2013 and then wanted to get closer to home, and 1 year now at Oral Roberts. And she is the newcomer of the year this year in the league. And Jordan Doyle, strong move to try and get out of that double team, and the official's going to discuss here who this foul is against and whether or not it was out of the ordinary.
That's the thing they've got to look at, and they'll go to the monitor and look at this because there was contact above the shoulders here. I don't think Doyle met any sort of malicious intent there. She was just trying to make a basketball play there. Probably didn't even realize the defense was on her backside. She was the one that was whistled with the foul, and the key thing for her, that's her 5th.
Yeah, Funstead took the brunt of it definitely, but will get the foul as well.
What the officials have to decide here is, was it an excessive play? In other words, was it not just a basketball play? If it was, then they can call a flagrant 1, which would give North Dakota State 2 free throws and the basketball. And they certainly also have the jurisdiction to call a flagrant 2 foul, which is when you really think something's malicious, and that's a player ejection. I don't think we're anywhere near that in this situation at all.
Yeah, they've made attempts to take the deciding whether or not there's intent there. They've tried to take that out of the officials' minds and out of their hands, but that's a tough thing to do. And
based on what we've seen this year, I would guess this is probably going to get called as a flagrant 1 just because there was some contact above the shoulders. Even if it's, again, the intention of it, like you said, they've tried to take that part out of it. There's no denying there was contact there, so we'll see what they decide here as they huddle.
all right, Bison fans might be looking at the end of the line here for their women's team. Bison men's team got a win over Denver last night, and they are in the semifinals. In a couple of men's games coming up here tonight, South Dakota will take on Fort Wayne in the opener here this evening, and then the Oral Roberts men's team up against IUPUI in the nightcap tonight, and the semifinals tomorrow here at the Premier Center.
And if Oral Roberts does hold on to win this game, their matchups with South Dakota State's played very well against them, but that necessarily mean anything here. They're going to get back to play, and they're not going to rule that as a flagrant foul.
And beg your pardon as well, it was not on Thunstead. The foul was on Jordan Doyle, her 5th. So she goes out. Thunstead stays in there with her 4 fouls. And Holly Johnson on the spin, and another rebound down to McIntyre. 17 rebounds and 18 points for Vicky McIntyre.
It's been a tough night for Johnson, too. She has not scored in this game, and North Dakota State surely needed some production there out of their junior.
Golden Eagles can take it right down to 2 minutes here. That did not reset the shot clock. That one did. But a rebound down to Whittle coming the other way. Got Keener running on the left side. Lamar out here to the right, and Whittle will take it all the way. And it rolls off again for the Bison, who are going to end up in the mid-30s shooting the basketball here this afternoon.
It's been that kind of afternoon for them. I mean, you know it's not your day when those kind of shots aren't going in for you.
Again, McIntyre has been huge. Jackson has been very solid. Again, a lot of contributions from everybody else as well. Faith Iam here is in double digits. Jordan Gilbert with the ball right now. One of the freshmen has contributed. And a foul on Lamar with 1:19 to go. That will put Oral Roberts at the free throw line. One coming for Faith Iam.
This is always the tough part of this time of the year in a basketball season. You look at a player like Brooke Lamar and all she's been through, transferring to North Dakota State from Southern Illinois, and she just had a fantastic last 2 years of her career, and this is going to be the end. And that's always a tough thing to watch these college athletes when you think about, they've been playing basketball their whole life and how much time they put into the game and getting, the conditioning, the skill work. She has really carried this team beautifully in her senior year.
Whittle comes down again. Moreno Whittle back up. McIntyre snatches another rebound, though. Moreno Whittle with 12 rebounds of her own here today for North Dakota State. Foul on Liz Keena. We'll send Jordan Gilbert to the free throw line, but Oral Roberts is going to move on here and take on South Dakota State in the semifinals.
The game when they played in Brookings was an absolute blowout. South Dakota State dominated Oral Roberts. The game in Tulsa was much closer. But the thing was, and the reason why Oral Roberts couldn't win that game is they didn't get a lot of contributions to go along with McIntyre. McIntyre had 27 points. Oral Roberts only scored 52 in that game, so she had over half their points. They're going to need the contributions like they had today. What we saw, everyone chipping in this win for Oral Roberts.
So McIntyre done with 18 points, 19 rebounds. Getty Bala back in for McIntyre. Brooke Lamar with 27 for North Dakota State. Holly Johnson in the post and a foul against the Golden Eagles. But just the 16th foul on Oral Roberts.
Well, defense is really what carried Oral Roberts to this win. I mean, they've fallen off here a little bit offensively. Kind of a normal game for them, but defensively holding North Dakota State to 53 points, 33% shooting, and then dominating the glass the way they have has been very, very impressive. 50 rebounds in this game for Oral Roberts.
Well, there's the first two of the ball game for Holly Johnson. Very good player out of Minot, North Dakota. Came in averaging 13 points, 7 boards a game. Gets her first 2 here. She does have 4 rebounds. And 3 points now. Bison foul coming up. Jordan Gilbert going back to the line. Just 40 seconds to go. And a 13-point lead. And again, Oral Roberts led by 11 at the break. has not been under a dozen here in the second half. McIntyre's 19 rebounds. By the way, second most in a ball game in tournament history in the Summit League. She set a Summit League record earlier this year with 27 rebounds in a game against Austin Peay.
She had 6 games this year where she had 20 or more rebounds. I mean, and again, her effect of the game just goes in so many areas. And Oral Roberts, I thought, really played well through her on the offensive end and let her do what she does well defensively in this game. Really disrupted North Dakota State. Bison just not able to get a lot around the rim when McIntyre was in the game.
Lamar goes right around Bala this time, and Brooke Lamar with 29. 22 of those coming here in the second half. Bison will foul a couple more times here, and Jordan Gilbert will trek back to the free throw line. Lamar on the slide by, and if that is the last hoop of her college career, that pretty much sums it up.
It certainly does. I mean, that's Brooke Lamar's game to a T right there. Great body control, being able to finish, get by a defender, just using her quickness. She's a player that plays with a ton of passion, and that passion and that enthusiasm is really carried over to her teammates. It'll be tough to replace that part of her being gone next year as well.
One more rebound here for Jordan Gilbert. And that will be all she wrote here as Oral Roberts moving on into the semis to take on South Dakota State, 71-58 final.